Hey guys, it's here bringing you another video. Now welcome to another Challenger Spectate. Not done one of these in a little while. I do enjoy doing them and I think they are educational. One thing I need to do, I just realized, is get rid of the vision. So again, we're getting the perspective of what the Viego sees. We're following a Viego today. And we're kind of answering the question is like, is Viego still incredibly powerful? Now, one thing I do also want to just kind of point your attention to, because it just makes me laugh, is that we've had a lot of people try and deny that AD carry is really stupidly strong. Mainly AD carry players. But I don't know in your own games. But yeah, AD carries have kind of taken over. If you look in this game, it's two AD carries against each other in mid and two AD carries against each other in bot. So there's 4 AD carries in this game. I will say tomorrow, I believe, is patch notes. And with that, I think a nerf to AD carry slightly is coming to try and get them away from solo laning as much as they are. Because it's the reason why AD carries, like, by the way, are so strong in solo lane. Some people have tried to go, oh, it's because AP junglers are really strong. Not really. Like, it's not all that reason. It may have started that way of, like, people thinking, oh, I can play an AD mid because we've got an AP jungler. But, like, you know, one team has got Lilia. The other team has got Viego. He's not an AP jungler. Also worth knowing, and I want to actually just say it outright right now, I believe the content starts tomorrow. And all I just want to say is I have taken to heart a lot of advice and feedback that you guys have been leaving over the last year. And it's taken a lot in me to kind of accept. And I agree the content has not been stellar in a lot of areas. And today I'm recording is Monday the 29th. I finished my stream earlier, did a 6-hour stream. And it is the best recording session I have had in over a year. And the way I say that is it's the best content I've made in a year. 6 games of solo queue, all being uploaded. All 6, I think, are very, very high quality. Back to education, back to my roots, maintaining positivity. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it, because I think it is a bit of... it's what this channel was built on, that type of content. And I feel we can do it again. So hopefully you guys enjoy that upcoming. So Viego does a red clear, and if you're wondering what's he doing here, I think he's scouting. I think that's just a bit of scouting just to make sure Lilia isn't thinking about coming. Sorry, I think I've dropped something. Okay, it's fine. Yeah, I think he was just double checking that Lilia wasn't thinking about walking into the jungle, because basically in the timings of everything, sometimes, you know, if you know, he doesn't have a ward, so you could place your ward at blue, then do wolves. He didn't have a ward available, so sometimes actually going to the entrance of your jungle in roughly the timing of when a Lilia would be looking to invade, it just kind of fends it off. It just gives you that knowledge of, right, if she's not coming now, it's unlikely that she's going to come for this invade, and it just kind of settles the Viego down a little bit. Now, obviously, one of the strengths of Viego is he's a very strong duelist in himself. He has access to AD carry items, which, again, at the moment, as we've all kind of known, are very strong. Very a big spike of their strength right now are the items. Ooh, gank. He's just going to probably get Jace Flash. Oh, he didn't actually let go of his stun. Obviously, Lilia went for a gank in bot lane, gets a kill where Viego knows, okay, Lilia's not here, so he looks for a gank in top lane. It doesn't work, but that means he's going to be relatively safe taking the Scuttle Crab. But yeah, so he's got AD carry strength items. He obviously can also, it's a bit of a hybrid between AD carry items like Kraken, but also going into fighter items. Oh. But then also, obviously, a major strength of the champion is you do become... if you kill somebody, you become them. And that also can be a negative. So you inherit all of their stats. You inherit all of their items. So if you manage to kill a really fed champion, you become that really fed champion. That's incredibly powerful. But if you kill a weak champion and you become a weak champion, you could just quickly get one shot. And that's really bad. So he's going for an early flash on the Leona. He's trying to get an early kill on Leona to become the Leona. That would then make him become Leona, which again technically is weaker than what he currently is, but that gives him CC. Obviously, this is pre-level 6. It is worth knowing that that is the enemy bot lane roaming to mid. I have no idea why. You can maybe understand supports roaming, because you do see that way too often nowadays. Why the Zeri came mid lane? I have no idea. You can see the Ashe on Viego's team is staying bot lane, because... they shouldn't be roaming that early into the game. So yeah, very odd. Does get the Jace's TP, flash, and obviously Jace. I love Jace, but the problem with Jace is he's a lane bully that doesn't really bully anymore. And if he does get behind, he is awful. So one of the biggest things of that champion is having his flash as that, oh, I can get away from you. I'll be okay. But obviously they just got his flash. That makes him so vulnerable. Now, at the time of this, it's actually good by Lilia. Jace is now vulnerable. He's used his flash. What does Lilia do? Come for a gank. So it kind of basically helps the Jace massively that it bullies the Jax away. It forces the Jax to use flash as well. And it puts the top laners more at an even stead. So that Jace has got a lot to thank to that Lilia in that slight play there. So overall, crazy game so far. Obviously, the very early game went into red team's favor. Pink ward in his own jungle, so this Viego mentally is thinking there could be invades, and Lilia might want to be trying to get my blue. She is right now on the Krug, Scuttly, whatever the hell they're called. Viego isn't interested. So I kind of touch upon this in some of today's games that you'll see in the next few days. They're not that important, and in reality, someone like Viego, he doesn't want to do too much fighting pre-6. He becomes so much more powerful at level 6. That he basically will concede the first 3, and I would imagine if he does care about any of them, he'll try to get the next 3, because by the time the next 3 spawn, he'll be level 6, and then he's actually really scary. You can see the enemy team, because it's early Viego. He struggles. They are trying to use the strength advantage, and you know, Lilia's not an early game champion, but it's just trying to use that early advantage with a Lucian invading together, because there's not a lot of Viego can do about that. The enemy team might even be looking to do Cloud Dragon to maximize basically what their momentum currently is. But yeah, the moment that Viego gets level 6, prepare for him to like kind of not take over. It's not inevitable that Viego's going to take over, but he's a bigger threat. And again, one of my kind of, I would say, frustrations with Viego ever since his launch is my dream of Viego is not something that Riot has ever really experimented with. They have more rewarded the playstyle of you kill an enemy champion as Viego, who's a strong champion in himself. You become that enemy, and then you immediately just throw your ultimate. You know, it's very rare that the person continues playing as the enemy that he's become. He just immediately ult for the reset, and it's kind of just a reset champion rather than the fantasy of, oh, I become all the different champions that I kill. I'd love if the fantasy was heightened of, I become that champion, I play as that champion more. I think that's a much more exciting potential fantasy. He at level 6 from a minion kill, goes to the Jace kill, hasn't got the kill yet. Ooh, that was a bit sloppy, must be said. He's nearly dead. Maokai support is heading top lane, and that will definitely finish off the kill. But, yeah, need to be careful. If they want to try and kill this Lilia, he needs to get involved with this kill here, which he doesn't officially, and that won't give him the chance to steal Jace's soul and become Jace. But yeah, that would be my thing. I think it would be so much more exciting if if it didn't even give him an auto reset of his ultimate. I think you need to be committed of being, no, you are that champion now for a while. I think that's way more exciting in the fantasy of what Viego can do. But they've never explored that way of the champion. It's more just about, okay, you become them, use your ultimate in a burst, kill them, become that champion, use your ultimate immediately, burst. But, yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think. What style would you think is better on Viego? And I'm not saying in better in terms of, like, strength. Obviously, it's right now stronger just to basically blow the ultimate straight away. But I think if they were to change the identity of the champion, of it's no longer a reset. If you become that champion, which is a choice, you're that champion for a minute or something. Like, you're locked into being that champion. I think that would actually be pretty interesting. So, less than a minute until the next round of the grubby things spawn. And as I mentioned, he'll be past level 6 by that point, which is more likely that Viego will care about them. Now, this is the time that Lilia... Again, a lot of people don't care about these scuttle crab things, or scuttle grubs, whatever the hell they're called. They don't really care about them. Oh, flash committing. Jace doesn't have flash yet with the big burst. Obviously, takes a lot of damage as the Viego, but he hasn't based for a while. He's going to base now. He should have enough time to go back by. But what I was going to mention, if Lilia doesn't care at all about getting all 6 of them, she could use this time to go, right, Viego, you go get your 3. We're tied at 3 apiece. I'll go get Dragon. But all different junglers have slightly different mentalities about them. It's very rare that they're the reason that you win or lose a game, I will say. I think dragons usually are more of a bigger reason that you win or lose games, Dragon Soul especially. So again, Viego right now, he may be conceding all 6. He just doesn't care. They are really not that important. Especially, it goes to say, because some people are like, oh, but they're really good with 2 AD carries. They are good with AD carries, but AD carries can also murder towers without them. Towers still die really fast, whether you've got 0 of those Void Grub buffs or 6. They still die very quickly. The people that help get the most benefit from them are champions that aren't very good at killing towers, period. Alright, there could be something on here. Oh, flash by Lilia. So she's committing to this. She will get the kill. But Viego will get 1. He might even try to go for 2. But yeah, unfortunate death there by Ezreal. Obviously, he got flashed on by Lilia, so, like, you know, maybe he couldn't have gotten away, but it is what it is. He's going to use this opportunity to push in the wave. Obviously, it goes without saying, just a very basic jungle thing. Jungling, as a whole, you don't want to be spending a lot of time in lanes. You don't want to be spending a lot of time farming in lanes, because junglers do get less than laners do. In terms of experience, I think it's either 14 minutes or 20 minutes. Like, you are genuinely getting less. You're getting half XP. So if you are a jungler, don't be sitting in mid lane and going, oh, my mid lane is roaming, I'll stay here for 3 waves. That's not great. That's actually hurting you, not helping you in terms of your XP. And if ever you're wondering, going like, oh my god, like, why am I 2 levels down my jungle opponent, but I'm even farm, or I'm ahead in farm, but you've been laning a lot? That's why. You are getting half XP versus the jungler who's not sitting in lane getting full XP from all jungle minions and monsters. So the Jaxos, like, he is struggling, which I would say I'm partially a little bit surprised about. He does also get First Blood Tower, does the Jace, which obviously is very good. Look at the damage from Jace. That was actually quite close. So again, Jace is more of an early specialist. So he should be doing damage in the early game, even with the tier build. He's got early lethality. This Jace is trying to early game snowball, because that's how you're kind of having to play Jace. But obviously, historically, Jax scales very well. So as the game goes, Jax should only get stronger. And, you know, let's be honest, they're not worlds apart from each other. The biggest difference right now is the tower. They're not that far away from each other in terms of farm. They're both... Oh, executed. They're both 2 kills apiece, so, you know, Jace has not exactly snowballed as much as he probably wants to. It's good that he kills a tower, though. That's very good. He got, like, you know, 600-700 gold for First Blood Tower there, so including all the plate gold and stuff, it's good. And that's something that Jace needs to do. Jax does get himself a plate there, which is good, so Jax has got 2. And meanwhile, Leona obviously was on walkies, gets herself executed. The enemy blue is taking out the AD carry that's been left on their Larry. Good cleanse, ignores the sleep. Lilia's going to try her best to commit for a double kill. Does get 1. Viego is here to try and help out the Maokai to survive. Will he, though? He is getting hit by minions. He's very low. 28 health, I saw. Will he make it out alive? It looks like he will. No, obviously, risk of an Ezreal, because the Ezreal is on his team. Good survival there, and that only happens because of Viego. And that's another important lesson that people need to learn. Not every gank, obviously, is a success when it comes to a kill. And not every interaction is a success if you don't get a kill either. That was a successful interaction because Viego saved the Maokai. If he didn't go there, the enemy team just gained another 300 gold for a kill. The Viego going there has actively denied gold from the enemy team. That is a successful play. So I think Ezreal, of all people, literally just stole the red. They're looking for a gank on the Lucian. He's not used E yet. He uses Flash. Maokai comes in with the Ezreal ultimate, and that it is a dead Lucy Lu. Hilariously, from what I've seen, by the way, it does kind of look like Ezreal pre-patch. Again, the patch is literally happening in a couple of days, but pre-patch, it does kind of look like Ezreal is the stronger mid lane AD carry over Lucian. Obviously, a lot of it is because Lucian just falls off. Where Ezreal doesn't. He scales pretty damn well. The only issue, and obviously watching a challenger game here, Ezreal's a lot harder to play than most AD carries. But when you're a challenger player, like this player is, most likely, they can make it work. Alright, so everybody you can see, like, people may question, why does Jax come down and help? Everybody should go down and help with a Rift if you're in the nearby area, because you get yourself a free enhanced base. It's a free base of quicker speed. That's not a bad thing to go touch the Rift Herald once. So Lilia, I will say, if you've been noticing on the minimap, she is very focused on invading the Viego's bot side jungle especially. She seems quite like that is what she wants to do all the time. But the thing is, it is worth saying, the more you do that, the more it becomes obvious. Nice kill. And the more likely you'll eventually get caught out for doing it. So Rift Herald being used straight away. Viego should, if I would say, base. He needs to go back, use his gold. Dragon has spawned. But unfortunately, it kind of seems it's a bit too late. Big fight happening in the blue side jungle. They're all invading. And a lot of this, it has to be said, there's 4 people in the enemy jungle, or the Viego's jungle. That's a lot because they know Viego's not there. Viego is pretty strong right now, and if they were like, oh, Viego could be here, they wouldn't have as much confidence to just be in that jungle. But yeah, Viego using obviously his free base, a free enhanced base, goes back, buys a few components, and now going to head back over. But that is going to concede a couple kills, and that is going to concede Dragon, which I would say, I don't know, I kind of feels that after that play in top lane, maybe Viego could have gone back and immediately gone over. But maybe he thought he'd be too late anyway, so there might be a thought to why. So obviously, blue team doing pretty good. Jax swapping over. He's heading down bot. The Ezreal's not happy about this by the look of it, because Ezreal probably wants a tower. But I don't even blame Jax for going for it either, though, to be fair. So now invading is happening the other way around. So it's now time for red team to be invaded. And here we go. So Maokai is in. Viego, though, is now involved in this fight, where obviously last time he was not involved. Flashing being used. Gets the kill, which is the reset. If he can actually click on the Lilia. And yeah, this is just a complete stomp now. Triple kill for a Jax. Late game hyper carry. It was close a little bit early with Jason Jax. I can tell you after that Jax buys bases with probably a completed Titanic or Neely. Yeah, that's not going to be close anymore. Jace has now desperately come in for the fight at the end, has used flash and everything. He does get the Ashe, but that is now an ace 18 minutes. Bit of a desperation play by the Jace, has to be said. Maybe again feeling the inevitable, I'm falling off, I'm a Jace, I need to do something. And that's the unfortunate thing when you're playing champs that fall off. You know, the red team here has a Lucian and a Jace. These are 2 champions that don't hyper scale on the same team. Versus Jax scales, Viego scales, Ezreal scales, Ashe scales. Lilia scales great, Zeri scales pretty good, but that's it. So, in terms of the war of late game, blue team pretty much have this in the bag. It's up to red team to try and snowball. So there is already, the Ezreal is solo killing the Lucian at a tier 2 tower. That's a huge difference of strength already. And it's still pre-20 minutes. You'd think that the Lucian would still be fairly strong, all bad Ashe Arrow. There's a Leona, and they're just... See, this is bizarre to me, that they are losing quite badly, and they still have the confidence to be invading the way that they are. Leona must have been just sitting in this bush trying to protect the invade. I don't get why the Lilia is so on to the invade, considering that they've both completed their 1200 smite. It's really good for denying 1200 smite. Invading throughout the game, denying buffs is always good. But just invading to get chickens, or raptors, whatever you want to call them, it isn't that good. Like, the risk versus reward just isn't quite there. And now because you've given up your territory, instead of just a raptors being stolen, your red buff is being stolen, which obviously impacts everybody. You all don't get red. And now the play is happening. So that's very nice. Good control by blue team. Obviously, you don't go for every single one you can. He might return for it, which now gives him reset. He's using the E, hits the Lucian. Very nice. Helps Ashe get the kill. Ashe with a flash. Lucian in, which obviously was the Viego. And that is, again, near enough another ace. Jace is the one left alive, and I don't even know where he is. He might even be with... He's with the Ezreal, of all people. He does gonna kill the Ezreal, but he's losing his base for it. That's not worth Jace not being there. But yeah, very good. It's using the Viego, basically, as that catalyst of, oh, we've got reset. I'm now becoming you. We go forward. It's very good. He cancelled his base. So tier 2 for Jace. Again, it's good. There's a lot of gold for a Jace, but it's just on a champion that isn't realistically going to use the strength that heavily. He can kill an Ezreal, a squishy AD carry, but the moment that Jax goes against him, there's nothing this Jace can do. And obviously, that was just a kind of... The Jace was probably purposely trying to stay away from the Jax. So, unfortunately for Ezreal, he was the one caught in the split push against the Jace, where normally it would be the Jax. But it's probably more the Jace trying to stay away from the Jax than anything else. So Baron is on the table. The enemy team may go for a desperate Baron. They can do it fairly quick with 2 AD carries and a Lilia, but the risk obviously is very high. You only typically want to do that if you know you can kind of get it, unless they think the game is over and they just go for a full, you know, risk it for everything Baron play. I have seen, obviously, people do it. Leona's trying to get a few wards, but it's not worth her life. That's the thing. So she's giving up her life for getting a ward on Baron. Not worth it, obviously. Goes without saying. I think Jax was really gotten low by the Lilia there. You can see the burn was happening. It was very weird to see a Viego then with Leona W, I think, still on him with it timing out. That was very odd. So there's a bit of a split decision making going on here. There's a bunch of blues that are like, let's just do Baron, but then Dragon is spawning. So they're committing to Baron, and if you're committing to Baron, to me, that means you're needing to commit to win the game. Of like now. Because, well, yeah, the Jace got annihilated by the Jax and the Ezreal. They're ignoring the Baron now, or the Ashes actually, of all people, staying on it. I kind of thought Red Team may have just gone, oh, let's just go do the Dragon. But they actually take the fight, probably thinking if they get Baron, this game is truly over. They get the Baron anyway, and that is probably going to be it. Obviously, Ezra's trying his best to get the Lilia. Can he get her? Oh! He can! Wow, that was a good TP. Don't think the Lilia obviously expected that. But yeah, Viego's still a very powerful champion. But as you know, the early game, you could see it wasn't that easy. The Viego had to give a lot. He had to concede a lot. And again, the enemy team got 6 of those scuttle crab thingies or whatever, void things. It doesn't matter. They don't do that much. The best thing I ever heard, and I think it was Broxer that said it, they're only good if you're winning. Because they're only good if you have the forward momentum to use them on towers. If you're getting stomped but you have 6 of them, they suck. They don't do anything because you can't use it. So that's what the Viego knows, is like, I don't need to risk the early game when I'm not strong to go for things that it doesn't matter eventually if we win later. So very good. Viego still very powerful. I would definitely recommend this champion. But as always, guys, thank you guys so much for the support. Please do look forward to the upcoming content. Again, I'm hyping it up quite a lot, but I do think it is pretty good. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.
Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our glory to live forever. Bring down the dark regime and